Hey guys, happy holidays. I trust that it's going well so far. I literally just got off the plane here in Houston. I just landed here from New York where I spent Thanksgiving with family. And I just got off the plane, but I just had to just stop in because I know that we had this live training for today at noon. And so I want to check in with you, not just to wish you happy holidays, but remember the training for today. We're talking about how do you stand out in 2020? What can you do to ensure that you stand out in 2020? And the thing is, this year is coming to a quick close. Today is already the 29th. And so we have at least, let's say, 30 days to be. I mean, if you really want to just take some time off for the holidays and so on, about 30 days to really plan to make 2020 an absolute successful year. And because of that, if you want to step into 20, ensuring that you're making that impact, that you're having the influence, that you're experiencing the fulfillment and success and so on that you are desiring for your life, then planning for 2020 is the ideal thing. Part of the problem is that many of us sometimes we know or we have these desires. We know that we really want to make an impact. We want to experience a different type of 2020 or a different new year. Most times, people make resolutions and so on. And so many people are always desiring a change. And part of the problem is, how do I actually change? What do I change? Many of us know that, we make resolutions and by the end of January, it's done. We're not doing anything that we're intending to do. And so the thing is, I wanted to share 3 points of clarity that I believe would make a difference for you as you plan to step into 2020 in a more impactful and powerful way. And so the thing is, you need to be clear about certain things, because there are so many things happening in your life. You may be very gifted, you may have so much going on, but you're not exactly sure what to do with all that you have going on. And so these 3 points of clarity, one of them is you really need to be clear about your calling. You need to be clear about your purpose, your true purpose. You need to be clear about what it is you are meant to do. Why are you here at this point in your life? Why are you here in the world? Why are you alive? What are you meant to do? And so the way that you're going to get that clarity, one of the biggest ways to get that clarity is really, and if you guys are hearing me, just put a thumbs up because I'm really unsure. I'm nice to have you, Corey and Jeremy, Crystal, Andrea. Thanks for joining me. Yes. And so the thing is, we want to be clear about that purpose. And one of the ways that you can really be clear about that purpose is really by you taking time in prayer. Spend time seeking God, because the truth is, one of the easiest ways for you to know why you're here, the same way if you have a car and there's a problem with the car, yes, we can take the car to any mechanic. We have a lot of gifted people out there, but the people who could take the best care of that car are the dealers, the manufacturers of that car. And you are, of course, created by God. He knows exactly why you are here. In Jeremiah 29:11, he says, I have created you for great purpose. And so really the best place for you to find or to seek that purpose is really from the being who created you, from God himself. And so prayer is really key for you as you go seeking out your true purpose. That is where the big part of that kind of clarity comes from. I think about myself as a child, the many desires that I had a desire to travel the world. I had a desire for me to be able to share God regardless of what I do. And when I look back and I think about my life, I think about that combination of things that have now influenced what I do. And I realized that I always had a desire. I remember doing spiritual gifts tests at different points in my life. And many times I would come up with the gift of encouragement. All of these things, my education, that spiritual gift of encouragement, that desire to share God, that desire to travel, have all come together. And now I'm living that wow life that we always talk about, doing exactly these things. And so God knows the purpose that he has for you. And what you need to do is to spend time seeking out that purpose. And purpose changes from time to time. So it may not be, hey, this is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life. This is probably what you're meant to do now. But there are but you need to be sure, as I go into 2020, I am literally living in my purpose, because I personally believe that one of the greatest tragedies or travesties of life is living a life without purpose, just going with the flow, living in autopilot, just doing things as you go along. I don't think that's a life that is fulfilling. It's not impactful. It's not satisfying. And so if you really want to have that kind of impact in your life, you want to, feel fulfilled personally, professionally, and otherwise, living in your purpose is a big part. So having clarity on your purpose is a big part of the success that you will experience in 2020. The second thing you need to be clear about is your message. You need to be sure of what it is. For example, in my speaker mentorship program, I work with clients who want to share a particular story. They want to be able to have a particular impact on the world through their story. For you, it may not just be being a public speaker, but it just could be about what it is you're meant to do. You need to be sure of that message that you want to share, that message that you want to spread, because that is going to help you. Thanks for joining us, Samantha, all the way from London. We need to really be clear about that. Jackie, nice to have you. I hope you're feeling much better. And so we spoke about being clear about purpose, now being clear about what it is you want to share. Because I know that every one of you out there have a particular story, and specifically for my ladies out there who are into the speaker mentorship program already, or we have had these discovery calls and you really want to start, I know many of you want to start, your sessions in January and so on. Be prayerful, but now also spend time thinking what it is I want to share. What is the impact I would like to have on the world in 2020? What is the core of what I want to share? What are these themes that I want to share or that resonates with the people that I will be able to connect with? And many of my clients, we've realized that sometimes, as I talk to people about their purpose, people are always looking for their purpose in the nice places. But sometimes your purpose can be found in a place that you'd least expected it. It is found in some bad experience or so on that you had. And the same thing comes with, having clarity on that message, because sometimes the message that you're meant to share is a message that comes out of something that was meant to destroy you. And I immediately think about the story of Joseph, Jacob's son, who had been sold into slavery by his brothers and so on. We saw how everything, he had that desire and dreams when he was a little boy that his brothers were going to bow to him. And eventually the end of the story is his brothers needed him, and he was able to tell them in Jeremiah 50 verse 20, you meant this for evil, but God meant it for good. And so the thing is, sometimes the power of your story or the message that you want to share may come from situations that were meant to destroy you. And that's the reason why we have to be very open-minded. We have to be very prayerful so that God can actually reveal these things. Yes, Jim, I'm so happy to have you. Yes, I remember you. Jim is joining us from St. Lucia. So we need to be very on point with what it is we want to share, because you could have that desire and you may be all over the place, which is what we don't want, because the message could be a good message, but if it's not concise, if it's not clear, then the people who are listening to you will not get it. And so that takes away from the impact that you're meant to have. I'm specifically focusing on people who are desiring to have that impact in 2020, in terms of their public speaking and so on, launching out into the public speaking sphere. So you want to be clear on the message, be clear on the themes, what it is you want to share, the impact that you want to have, and how can you do that in a very clear and concise way, and also in a confident way, so that the people that hear you can be impacted and their lives can be changed. And finally, you need to be clear with your plan of action. The Bible says, of course, without a vision, the people perish. You have that vision. There's also a text that says you need to write the vision and make it plain. And part of that is you being able to articulate on paper, write out exactly what your plan of action is. There are many people who have very great ideas, but they have no plans and nothing happens. So what are you going to do with the purpose that has been revealed? Okay, you're praying and you got, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. You are sure about that. You're clear about, okay, your purpose. You're clear about the message that you have. Now, what are you going to do about it? And that's part of what I do in the Speaker Mentorship Program. We have to go through the process of that message is now written. You are clear. You know your themes. You know everything that you want to do. But now, What are you going to do about it? Who are you going to reach out? How are you going to get these ideal clients? How are you going to get to speak on particular stages? How are you going to get to interact with particular groups of people? That is a big part of the planning that needs to be done. And that works for you regardless of what it is you're desiring to do in 2020. You need to have a plan. You need to be able to say, I want to do X, Y, Z. You could even put dates to it. Of course, you continue to pray and ask God to guide you and so on, but you need to have a plan. Without a plan, the people perish. And so I would like to encourage you to really make 2020 a year of difference in your life. Make it a year that is so impactful that you shock yourself. Shock your friends, your family, your enemies, whomever. Do something great in 2020. So we're going to do that by first being clear about your purpose, then being clear about the message that you want to share, about what it is that you are doing, and then have a plan of action. Have that plan. The thing is, even when you may not be able to execute the plan maybe the way that you had intended to, you still have something to work with. It's better to have a plan and not be able to execute it than to have no plan at all, and an opportunity comes and you never get the opportunity because you had no plan. And so as I talk about that last point, I really want to just tell you quickly that you need to prepare for the opportunities. I say to clients sometimes, many of us are saying, okay, I'm going to actually do this thing when the opportunity comes. No. I spend time literally, and a lot of people that I work with and coaches that I have and different friends of mine who are successful, the things that they do is literally you plan. You plan and you wait for when the opportunity comes, because many people, opportunity comes for them, but because they did not have a plan of action, they are not able to take the opportunity. And so when we're talking about that plan of action, ensure that right now you're writing out something, have your proposal ready, do whatever you need to do, so when the opportunity comes, your plan and the opportunity and your readiness can actually join together. So that's my encouragement for you this year, as the year is coming to a close, to really prepare you for 2020, to just be clear about your purpose, be clear about the message that you want to share, and be clear about that plan of action that you need to take, so that when your opportunity comes, you are ready for your success. You are ready to make your impact. You are ready to be able to just influence and help others and so on. And I just really want you to just do really well in 2020, because God has great plans for you, and He's waiting for you to just put your plan into action. He's waiting for you to connect with Him so that He can reveal that will for your life. He's waiting for you, and He wants you to experience the best. And many people, I know that you have that desire, but you need to be clear about certain things. These 3 points that I shared here today. And if you're willing to, you want to be able to, you say, Nadine, I know what I want to do in 2020. I'm still unclear how I seek that purpose. I'm still unclear how I know what messages I need to share. I'm still unclear how I even need to plan. And you're really desiring, especially if you desire to really go into the speaking arena, you want to become a public speaker, you have something to share and so on. You can get on a discovery call with me so that we could actually, get you going. And so in the comment section below, you can actually write, I want to know more. And so I can send you a link so that you could actually get on a discovery call with me. But my encouragement for you is 2020 needs to be the best year of your life. And the thing is, you have the opportunity to make it the best year of your life. What are you going to do about that? And my encouragement is just be clear, because God has great plans for your life. So have a happy holiday season. I will be in touch with you guys. I want to tell you a little more about South Africa, what I experienced there, the impact that, the Lord was able to use me to have out there, and how that can influence you as you go about preparing for 2020. So God bless you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.